Imagine two people give you the exact same advice. The first person looks nervous and says, "I think this might work." The second person stands tall, looks you directly in the eyes and says, "This will work." Which person are you more likely to believe? Most people choose the second person, not because that person gave better evidence, not because they were more intelligent, and not because they were more experienced. They simply sounded more confident. Confidence has a powerful effect on the human brain. When someone speaks clearly, makes quick decisions, and acts certain, we often assume they know what they are talking about. But there is a problem. Confidence is not the same thing as knowledge. A person can sound completely certain and still be completely wrong. So why do we trust confident people so easily? To understand this, we first need to understand how the human brain makes decisions. Every day, your brain processes an enormous amount of information. You notice faces, voices, movements, dangers, emotions, memories, and hundreds of small details happening around you. Your brain cannot carefully analyze every single piece of information. That would take too much time and energy, so instead, it uses shortcuts. Psychologists often call these mental shortcuts heuristics. A heuristic is a quick rule your brain uses to make a decision without thinking deeply about every possibility. For example, when you see dark clouds, you might assume it is going to rain. When you hear someone shouting, you might assume something is wrong. And when someone speaks confidently, your brain may assume that person is competent. The shortcut sounds something like this. If someone acts like they know what they are doing, they probably do. This shortcut is fast, it is simple, and sometimes it is useful, but it can also be dangerously wrong. To understand where this instinct comes from, imagine living thousands of years ago. You are part of a small group trying to survive in the wilderness. Your group needs food, shelter, protection, and quick decisions. Suddenly you hear an animal moving nearby. One person says, "Maybe we should stay here. I'm not sure." Another person says, "Everyone move, now." In a dangerous situation, there may not be enough time to debate every option. The person who reacts quickly and speaks confidently may help the group survive. Confident people also often appear to have experience. A skilled hunter may know where animals are hiding. An experienced leader may know when the group should move. Someone who has survived many dangerous situations may speak more confidently because they have seen similar situations before. Over time, humans may have learned to connect confidence with skill. That connection still exists in our brains today. The problem is that modern life is very different. Today, confidence can be copied, it can be practiced, it can even be completely fake. Someone can stand straight, speak loudly, use complicated words, and still have no idea what they are talking about. But our brain may still react as if confidence proves competence. Think about a classroom. A teacher asks a difficult question. Most students stay silent. Then one student quickly raises their hand and gives an answer with total certainty. Even before the teacher confirms the answer, the other students may assume that person is correct. Why? Because nobody else had an answer. The confident student appears to know something the others do not, but they might simply be guessing. The same thing happens in meetings. Imagine that 10 people are sitting around a table trying to solve a problem. Nobody knows what to do. Then one person leans forward and says, "I've dealt with this before. Here is exactly what we need to do." Suddenly, the uncertainty in the room disappears. The group feels relieved. Someone has taken control. Even when that person is wrong, their certainty can make the solution feel safe. Humans generally dislike uncertainty. Not knowing what is going to happen can make us uncomfortable. Confidence removes that discomfort. A confident answer feels complete. It feels stable. It feels safe. A cautious answer may be more accurate, but it can feel less satisfying. Imagine a doctor says, "Based on the evidence, this treatment will probably help, but there are still some risks." Now imagine another person says, "I guarantee this treatment will work." The first statement is more realistic. Medicine is complicated, and responsible experts usually acknowledge uncertainty. But the second statement may sound more convincing because it offers certainty. This creates an interesting problem. Real experts often sound less confident than people who know very little. Experts understand that most subjects are complicated. They know that evidence can change. They know that there may be exceptions. They are aware of what they do not know. That is why experts often use phrases such as, "The evidence suggests," "This is likely." based on the current information. Or, we cannot be completely certain. To someone who does not understand how expertise works, this caution may sound like weakness. Meanwhile, an uninformed person may say, "This is definitely true. There is no doubt. Everyone else is wrong." The uninformed person sounds stronger even though the expert may understand the subject far better. This is connected to an idea known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect describes how people with limited knowledge or ability can sometimes overestimate how much they know. When someone is a complete beginner, they may not understand how complicated a subject really is. They do not know enough to recognize their own mistakes. Because of this, their confidence may be extremely high. Imagine someone learns 3 facts about investing. They watch a few videos, make one successful trade, and suddenly believe they have mastered the entire financial market. They may start giving advice to everyone they know, but an experienced investor understands risk, uncertainty, changing markets, and the possibility of losing money. The experienced investor may sound more careful because they understand how much can go wrong. The beginner sees a simple answer. The expert sees a complicated system. As people learn more, something interesting often happens. Their confidence drops. They begin to recognize how much they do not know. Later, after gaining real experience, their confidence may slowly increase again. But expert confidence is usually different from beginner confidence. It is more controlled, it is based on evidence, and it leaves room for being wrong. Confidence does not only influence individuals, it can influence entire groups. In a group discussion, the most confident person often speaks first, speaks longer, and interrupts others more frequently. Because they dominate the conversation, people may assume they are the leader. The group may begin copying their opinions. This can happen even when quieter people have better ideas. A shy person may understand the problem perfectly, but struggle to explain their thoughts. A confident person may have a weak idea, but present it so well that everyone follows. This is one reason confidence can create social power. When other people treat someone like a leader, that person may become even more confident. Then the group trusts them even more. It becomes a cycle. Confidence creates influence. Influence creates status. And status creates even more confidence. We can see this clearly on social media. Online platforms reward attention. Posts that receive more clicks, likes, comments, and shares are shown to more people. Careful explanations are often slow and complicated. Confident claims are simple and exciting. Compare these 2 statements. The first says, "Scientists are still researching this subject, and the current evidence is mixed." The second says, "This one secret changes everything." Which one sounds more exciting? Probably the second one. It promises a clear answer, it creates curiosity, and it sounds certain. This is why confident misinformation can spread so quickly. A person does not always need strong evidence. They only need to sound convincing. They may speak loudly, use dramatic music, add impressive graphics, and repeat phrases such as, "They do not want you to know this." The presentation creates confidence, and confidence creates trust. People may confuse popularity with truth. They see thousands of likes and assume thousands of people cannot be wrong. But a claim does not become true simply because it is confidently repeated. Confidence also affects the way we remember information. When someone tells a story with certainty, the story can feel more believable. Even small details such as eye contact, posture, tone of voice, and speed of speech can influence our judgment. Someone who avoids eye contact, pauses often, or speaks quietly may appear dishonest, but they may simply be nervous. Someone who maintains eye contact and answers quickly may appear honest, but they may simply be a skilled liar. This is why judging truth based only on body language can be unreliable. Nervousness does not automatically mean dishonesty, and confidence does not automatically mean honesty. So how can you protect yourself from fake confidence? The first step is to slow down. Confidence works best when you react immediately. When someone makes a powerful claim, pause before accepting it. Ask yourself, what evidence are they giving me? Are they explaining why they believe this? Or are they only repeating the same confident statement? The second step is to check whether they can admit uncertainty. A trustworthy person should be able to say, "I do not know." They should be able to recognize limits in their knowledge. Someone who claims to know everything should usually make you more skeptical, not less. The third step is to see how they react when challenged. Do they answer questions calmly? Do they provide evidence? Do they correct themselves when they make a mistake? Or do they become angry and attack the person asking the question? Real confidence does not need to avoid questions. It can survive examination. Fake confidence often depends on never being challenged. You should also separate presentation from information. A person may be charismatic, attractive, funny, or entertaining. None of those qualities prove that their argument is correct. Listen to the claim itself. Look for evidence. Compare it with other reliable sources. And remember that a boring answer can still be true. Another useful question is, what would change this person's mind? A reasonable person should be able to name the kind of evidence that would make them reconsider, but someone trapped in fake certainty may refuse to change their opinion under any circumstances. That means they are protecting a belief, not searching for the truth. It is important to understand that confidence itself is not bad. Confidence can help people communicate. It can help leaders make decisions. It can help someone defend a good idea that others are ignoring. The danger appears when we treat confidence as proof. Confident people are not automatically wrong. They are simply not automatically right. The goal is not to distrust everyone who speaks clearly. The goal is to look beyond the way the message is delivered, because knowledge is harder to see than confidence. You cannot instantly measure someone's intelligence. You cannot immediately know how much research they have done, but you can hear the certainty in their voice. You can see their posture. You can notice whether they hesitate. Confidence is visible. Knowledge is hidden. That is why the shortcut is so tempting. Our brains want fast answers. We want people who make complicated problems feel simple. We want someone to tell us exactly what is true, but reality is often uncertain. Sometimes there is no perfect answer. Sometimes the evidence is incomplete. And sometimes the person who sounds less certain is actually the person who understands the most. So the next time someone speaks with complete confidence, do not automatically reject them, but do not automatically believe them either. Pause for a moment. Listen carefully. Ask for evidence. Pay attention to whether they can admit mistakes. And remember this: confidence tells you how strongly someone believes something. It does not tell you whether that belief is true. Sometimes the loudest person in the room knows the least, and sometimes the smartest person in the room is the one who is comfortable saying, "I do not know." Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget it.